Welcome back to Bloomberg's Bottom Line. I'm Mark Crumpton. Thanks for staying with us. With all the financial troubles in Europe, where should one invest overseas? Joining us now, Claro, portfolio manager of the Wells Fargo Advantage Opportunities Fund. The fund is a Bloomberg Best in global equities. It also ranks in the top 5 percentile among its peers over the last 5 years. Mr. Claro manages $1.5 billion in assets at Wells Capital Management, and he joins us from Boston via the phone. Mr. Claro, welcome to Bloomberg. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Sir, talk to me about, you know that there are a number of macro challenges for the global market. Specifically, what are they?
Well, we've definitely worked our way through several macro challenges in 2010, and they should be accompanying us through to 2011. And they include the U.S. deficits, whether you're talking about federal, current, state, or municipal. The European sovereign issues have also added some jitters to the market. We have Chinese inflation, which is a concern, and we also have geopolitical threats, which come up every now and then. But despite these macro challenges, we have a positive view for 2011, even though we're going to have to work through some of these.
And you think there are some undervalued opportunities in developed nations. Why?
That's right. That's right. So we're global investors, and what we're tending to find is that in developed markets we can find value, whereas in developing markets and emerging markets we tend to find more growth stocks that we can purchase at good prices. But we think that European expectations have been quite negative, and some stocks have been left behind both in Europe and in the U.S. And we've been able to find values there.
How are European economies going to fare? Are we going to see any disintegration there?
Well, ultimately, I think one of the key questions is Angela Merkel crazy, or is she smart? And I believe that she's smart, and her rigor and her dogmatism has really motivated some of the southern European countries to get their fiscal deficits more in line. Yeah. So it's created jitters in the market, but ultimately I think it's benefiting the Eurozone, and there are also other mechanisms through which they can sustain the bond market, such as the European Central Bank buying bonds, or even other countries potentially buying European bonds. So, we think that Europe will continue to have some jitters, but that should pull out of this, and we don't see any disintegration anytime soon in the Eurozone. And let's not forget that Germany is growing at 3%. So, and that's the core of the Eurozone.
You have a couple of picks. Let's get right to them. First, Heidrick Struggles. You like this. Why?
Well, it's one of the leading executive recruiting firms, and executive recruiting volumes are improving. Pricing is also improving, so revenues that they get for each assignment has bottomed and is increasing. They're also increasing their revenue per consultant. That has been increasing strongly, and they're growing very strongly in Asia, growing gradually in the U.S. and Europe. It has a very strong balance sheet, and it's off its highs by over 40%. So it's quite an interesting value.
And speaking of Europe, USG People, a specialized provider of employment services in Europe, you like that as well?
Yeah, that's right. Temporary employment numbers are rebounding, and employers want the flexibility that temporary employees provide as they exit the downturn. So USG People is benefiting from that. The stock is off its peak by almost 60%. So it's an interesting value.
And in about 15 seconds, Peugeot. You like Peugeot?
Peugeot, yes, exactly. They have very strong diesel engine technology. They have some new models coming out which should help sales, and they have a very strong efficiency program of 3.3 billion euros in EBIT for the next 3 years. It's trading on 6 times earnings for 2011 and off its highs by over 50%.
All right. Claro, Wells Capital Management, joining us on the phone from Boston. Mr. Claro, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.